to Rupy Tuesday. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Rupy and I'm a lifestyle and psychology coach. And I help individuals, I empower individuals to live the life that they want to live. So I've got a really interesting and fascinating subject for you today. And today we're going to talk about emotional vampires. So this is a topic that I feel quite strongly about actually. So what do I mean when I, talk about vampires? I'm not talking about the vampires that you might have seen, in Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Although I used to love that show when I was a kid. But I'm not talking about those vampires. I'm talking about your social network, the people that you might be hanging around with who suck and drain your energy. And these people, there might not be malice sometimes. Unfortunately, sometimes there may be that, but ultimately hanging around with those people might not be doing you any good in terms of your self-esteem and well-being. So it's about noticing who your vampires are in your social network. I particularly remember when I was at university and I used to hang around with some people, and then 10 years later, I'm now 31, I've come to realise that some of the people that I used to hang around with, we've just not got that much in common anymore, and that's okay. I've outgrown them and they've probably outgrown me. But some people as well, like I'd go and visit them and maybe spend an hour there, and I could feel that my emotional energy would just be sucked away. And this happens a lot, especially when you're 30 as well, and you might be seeing some of your friends get married, you might be seeing some of your friends have babies, and it's natural for us to self-compare. And we'll be doing another video blog on self-comparison very shortly. But the type of people I mean, whether you've got these emotional vampires within your network. Often it can be, people who are putting you down. So, I don't know, you might put on a really good outfit that makes you feel really good, but then someone will criticise you and, you instantly lose that feeling of good. And it's those kind of people that you need to be aware of. So what can you do if you've got emotional vampires around you, and how can you ensure that they start sucking your energy away? So I think number one is, when you think about your emotional vampires, firstly, if they're saying negative things to you, you might want to think about, is what they're saying true? And how much is that really about them? So they might be saying, oh, don't you look rubbish in that outfit? Well, actually, you may not know what's going on for them. So they might have self-esteem issues, they might have confidence issues, they might be mirroring their thoughts about themselves onto you. And this doesn't mean that it's okay, but sometimes taking a step back and thinking about what might be going on for the other person can give you a bit of perspective. So you might realise, well, actually this is their issue and not mine, and that will help you work out what's going on for you and what's right. So number one, remember to take a step back, think rationally, work out what's going on for them, because ultimately their criticism may not be a reflection of you. It's probably more likely to be a reflection of them. Number two, so when I was talking about, outgrowing people from 10 years ago, Number two might be, well, you might want to sit down, you might want to mind map who's in your social network. And if you don't want to cut people off, so for instance, you can't always cut your family off, but if you don't want to cut people off, that's fine, but you might want to start analysing how much time you spend with certain people and what kind of emotions they bring out in you. Do you feel positive when you're with those people, or do you feel like your energy is seriously draining? And if it's the latter, then we need to do something about it. So one of the ways in which I think we can do something about it is maybe think about, well, what kind of things do we want from our social network? What kind of emotions do we want to have associated with hanging out with the right people? What do you want to feel? What do you, what kind of interaction do you want with those people? And maybe you'll find as well that your interests have changed. So if you realise that actually you want to get more active, but no one in your social network is active, then maybe it's time to, you can look at some meetup groups and you can see, whether you can make some new friends and broaden your social network so that you can meet people with similar interests to you. And thirdly, and this is probably the most important message of them all, so it's kind of related to the first but slightly different. So often when we hang around with vampires, those who may be critical of us, we often internalise what they're saying about us. So it might be that someone's called you stupid or fat or ugly, and we can internalise these thoughts, and this can affect our confidence and really knock us back. So I want to empower you, and I want you to think about ways in which you can challenge those thoughts. So if someone said something negative about you, I want you to turn that, I want you to maybe write a list and to turn that into a positive, to challenge what they're saying. So if someone's called you fat, maybe you want to challenge it and think, am I really fat, and what does that mean about them? And also, what one awesome thing is there about you? So for every negative, I want you to think of a positive. So you might be a good friend, you might be a good listener, you might be a good cook, you might be good at baking, you might be good at swimming, whatever it is, but there is something unique and something awesome about you, and I want you to start listing those things down. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'm looking forward to seeing you next week for another Rupy Tuesday.